Happy Wednesday, folks. It's hump day here at Top Gun Options. I'm Wiz, Matthew Buckley. I'm the Chief Option Strategist here at TGO, and there it is right on the front page of the Drudge Report, because obviously, folks, you're not going to see this on MSNBC, CNN, or any of the liberal media news networks. We all knew this to be true. Now it's been proven. Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee paid for that dirty dossier, quote unquote, the Russian dossier that was used to throw a bunch of dirt all over Trump and ultimately led to the appointment of the special counsel, Mueller, and all sorts of other stuff, folks. The house of cards is falling. You want to talk about Russia collusion? It's right there on the screen. Bill Clinton met with Putin. A couple days later, mysteriously, Uranium One donates $145 million to the Clinton Foundation, and mysteriously, a little time after that, the whole deal gets approved. Now, these idiots in the media are going to say, well, a committee approved it. She didn't necessarily. Folks, if you're the commanding officer of a squadron and you appoint a board to do something, I'm pretty damn sure they have a little influence or want to do what the commanding officer most likely wants them to do. They obviously think we're all mentally retarded, folks. This stinks to high heaven, and this is the scandal where people might go to jail. It's awful. Here you go. Here's some sub-headlines. Elites turn on Clinton's The Sacrifice. Toxic. Wall Street Journal is reporting that Mueller soft-pedaled the probe, embarrassing to Clinton. Republicans are finally going to probe the Obama Justice Department, and now the FBI's on the hot seat. Folks, there's an FBI agent right now who was a whistleblower who wants to blow the whole top off of this thing, but they're under an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and apparently the Justice Department is trying to jump through their ass to waive that so this person can speak. How about they waive it with the blink of an eye, folks? What is taking so long? It's taking so long because the swamp is full of disgusting people like this. After a year of investigations, they haven't found any Russian collusion on Trump. And the reason they've been doing this, they are narcissist sociopaths. I have a lot of experience with those type of people. And they're doing what? They projected all this dirt, all this bad on the Trump to hide their own behavior. It's awesome. Grab your popcorn. Wiz, good rant, but what the hell does this have to do with trading? Everything. There's the Jim Comey pullback, folks. Remember that infamous memo? Of course, he leaked to the New York Times. That said, oh, Trump, it hurt my feelings and he might have intimidated me. And then the market has a 300-point pullback in the blink of an eye and then rallies. Here's a fire and fury pullback. Here's the Steve Mnuchin and Gary Cohn should resign because Trump's a racist pullback. Here's some North Korea and Donald Trump Jr. Russian email pullback. Every pullback year to date, folks, has been political. It's not because Chipotle, Boeing, and AMD earnings suck today. These have been political pullbacks, okay? We've been beating a drum here, very counter to a lot of, quote, smart money, the same smart money that predicted Clinton would win and the market would implode if Trump got elected. As you guys know, I did the exact opposite. I said, not only does Trump win, the market's going to rally 10 to 15%. I was wrong. It rallied more than that. These are the same people, folks, that are telling you that if we go and get tax reform baked or by the end of the year, it doesn't matter. The market will shrug that off and go higher. This market is looking for an excuse. It wants a reason to go down 3 to 5%, and that will be it. So if you're listening to those type of folks that are saying, hey, no problems if we don't get tax reform, I'll be on the other side of that trade 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. So there it is. Hillary Clinton is an absolute liar. That's breaking news, Wiz. And they paid for that Trump dossier. Now, the current head of the Democratic National Committee is saying, well, the new leadership at the DNC denies knowledge of this, meaning Debbie Wasserman Schultz and that whole shit show most likely did it. This is the scandal, folks, but I dare you. Go look at the mainstream media and see if they're covering any of this. Here's the Russian collusion, and it's going to hit them right in the face, and I hope people go to jail. It's about time. We need to restore the rule of law and order in this country, folks. No more Animal Farm. George Orwell, of course, we were all forced to read this in high school, said what? All animals are equal. Some animals are more equal than others. People like me and the silent majority in America have been sick for years that the Clintons and these elites get away with what, if we tried to do, would be thrown in jail. You tried deleting 33,000 emails under federal subpoena and go stand in front of the judge and go, suck it, judge. Oh, and I smashed my Blackberries with a hammer and I wiped the servers clean with bleach bit and then took a hammer to those too. Don't see if you end up in jail. I've had it. We're getting the pitchforks ready, folks, and also the torches if justice doesn't come. Okay, let's get into the markets. Good rant. China stock markets are calm, but its traders are restless. This is interesting, folks. I've been watching the FXI. I've been thinking that Donald Trump, mistakenly, was going to shoot some economic bullets, harder bullets, not the Nerf bullets he's shot so far, at China to get them to sit on their retarded nephew. It hasn't happened. But China's stock markets are very calm, which is interesting. And you know why? Because of 2015. So I think they learned from 2015, that market implosion in China was their 2008. Chinese government didn't like that. People got wiped out. We talked about hairdressers in Shenzhen saying, I lost everything, I lost 70 grand, which is all I had to my name. We went through that. Now, this guy, I'm out of the game. This 34-year-old IT worker sold almost 70% of his portfolio, worth about 87 grand after the 2015 market slump, and pared down some more this year. It is more difficult to identify strong tech companies or convincing investment themes since the crash. So the invisible hand of the government in China is really guiding their markets here. They wanted stability. You can get stability in the markets when you dictate financial policy at the end of a gun. So very, very interesting. We're going to talk about this at 1 o'clock in our accelerated retirement session. So we'll talk about China. ECB, Mario, is looking to start his taper this week, just like Ben Bernanke did. It remains to be seen whether or not we're going to see some taper tantrums across the pond, and that should be interesting. But today, just kind of struggling around, folks. Dow's down about 60, S&P's off. We have a weekly options bull put spread and a bear call spread that makes an iron condor on. The bull put spread's in a little bit of, quote, danger right now. It's Wednesday morning, folks. Triple-digit rally the other day. Now we're down triple-digit. We're struggling for direction. So at the top here, it is a lucky strike moment for that weekly options trade. I'm not touching it. We have a really, really good-looking iron condor on in our accelerated retirement portfolio that we'll cover at 1 o'clock today. Like I said, we put on a bull put spread about 2 weeks ago, and the bull put spread could make $1,500. Or no, that was last week. The week before is that was the bear call spread. Here's the bull put spread. So the bull put spread could make $1,700. So what's that? $3,400. Potentially $3,400 in 2 weeks, folks, on limited risk. And the probability of that iron condor going right through the uprights by Friday is. Let's take a look at Click Analyze on our E-Trade platform. We're ditching E-Trade, folks. I'm going to TradeStation. There's a 76% probability that trade makes $3,300 by Friday. Really, really nice looking trade. So we'll talk about that in accelerated retirement here. But lackluster earnings at Chipotle is getting destroyed, man, today. 13%, AMD, AT&T, Boeing, Coca-Cola. So what a difference a day makes. For those of you worried about a weekly options trade, yesterday we had Caterpillar, McDonald's, and what else? McDonald's, 3M, blow the doors off of earnings, and we had a 200-point rally on the Dow. Now these guys, Chipotle, AMD, AT&T, Boeing, Coke, now we're having one of these days. So don't worry about it. It's Wednesday morning. It's a world of different. We're literally at hump day. It's 2.5 days in. We got 2.5 days to go until Friday. Goldman, this will be the biggest buyer of stocks in 2018. I could run Goldman Sachs, folks. I've been telling you this to my members. I've been saying this for the past 2.5 years. The number one buyer of the S&P 500 has been what? The S&P 500. Now, Goldman can take what I say and put it into some nice cool charts and all sorts of stuff and make my eyes glaze over. We know this at TGO, folks. The invisible hand that's driving this market higher ain't the retail trader who's getting in at a possible top. It's low interest rates and stock buybacks. Thanks, Goldman. Who's going to win the last election? Oh, Hillary, right? And if Trump wins, the market's going to implode. That shows you, folks, that these people put their pants on just like I do. I jump out the window from the 29th floor and jump into them. Okay, so they're no different than you and I. So Goldman coming out to say that stock buybacks are going to continue and drive this market higher. I think they've been watching our SITREPs or attending my live trade briefs. It's comical that clients pay a hell of a lot of money for that type of advice. So I'm telling you, folks, that the market's looking for a 3 to 5% correction. It's looking for an excuse. And after the shit show yesterday between Bob Corker and the president, literally throwing mud back and forth like they're in the schoolyard, is terrifying. If we don't get tax reform passed, folks, The two black swan events to me right now are North Korea and a lack of getting tax reform passed by the end of the year. As I sit here and shoot this in a chilly Fort Lauderdale, there's 14 legislative days left, folks. If you think they can get some massive tax reform passed in 14 days, Hillary Clinton's the finest politician in this country has ever known. It's not going to happen. So guess what? I'd be ready, man, for a potential. And we have, oh, by the way, folks, we have a debt ceiling debate coming again in December. Remember, Chuck and Nancy and Trump did what? They outflanked the Republicans earlier this month on the whole debt ceiling. Left Speaker, what's his face, and Mitch McConnell stunned. So we got a December surprise coming with the debt ceiling. So a lot going on, guys. Kind of rambling on here, but this is just comical. I knew it to be true, folks. Just like the election, I called this. I said the only Russia collusion that's going to come out of this, once we dig into it, is the Uranium One deal. 20% of our stockpile she approved to give to the Russians. If Trump approved a deal, if Donald Trump approved a deal to do that, their faces would be melting off. They would be literally storming the White House right now. Not a peep. So keep an eye on the real story, folks, and we'll see what this does to the markets. Okay, I got to run. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, guys, and I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock in Accelerated Retirement.